Welcome back. You're watching the Late Night News. The Ndtv-Hindu had earlier reported about food scarcity in Kannagi and Semancheri. Well, now the government has reacted to it. It's an Ndtv-Hindu impact. The Supreme Court's Commissioner N.C. Saxena and Special Commissioner Harsh Mandar have sent a notice to Tamil Nadu Chief Secretary K. Sripati to ensure food security at the Kannagi and Semancheri, the resettlement colonies in suburban Chennai. The notice was sent after a report of the Citizen Rights Forum pointed out that there were just 9 Anganwadi centers in 3 resettlement colonies in Kannagi Semancheri and Tondeyarpet. The forum in Chennai has also pointed out that the PDS system was not working out properly in the resettlement colonies. The notice has sought explanation from the Tamil Nadu government on 3 areas, one on the number of Anganwadi centers in the colonies, other on the non-implementation of midday meal schemes in some schools, and the third that needed clarification is the poor implementation of the PDS system in the colonies, which is home now to over 1 lakh displaced people in Chennai. Now, one-way woes continue to worry people in the city. Now, people in Mylapore are saying that they are unhappy with the one-way routes which have been introduced in Luz Corner in an effort to ease traffic congestion. Our reporter Salim drove around the area to find out more.
From Luz Junction to Alwarpet Signal and from Luz Junction to PS Sivamani Sale Junction, these roads are now one-way routes. Motorists are not so happy with the new traffic plan.
3 வருஷமா ஆட்டோ ஓட்றேன் 3 வருஷமா ஆட்டோ ஓட்றேன் ஒண்ணே சுத்தி வரதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா இருக்கு ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா இருந்துச்சுனா ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா போய்ட்டு நாங்க பாட்டு வந்துருவோம் எங்களுக்கு எந்த பிரச்சனையும் இருக்காது இது ஒரு 2 கிலோமீட்டர் இல்லீங்களா இதுல எங்களுக்கு 20 இப்போ அத்தனை கிலோமீட்டர் போனா இவ்வளவு பெட்ரோல் செலவாகுதுன்னு ஆகுது இல்லீங்களா
இத பாத்தீங்களா இவங்க வர்றாங்க வண்டியை அவங்க டர்ன் பண்ணி வர முடியல பாத்தீங்களா அவங்க சுத்தி வரணும் அதுக்காக சுத்தி வர முடியுமா இதுக்காக வந்து விவேகானந்த காலேஜை சுத்தி வர முடியாது
The police say one-way routes help ease traffic congestion in Chennai, where the number of vehicles has surged from 8 lakhs 10 years ago to 32 lakhs today.
But one-way traffic ultimately அதை இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது ஏதாவது ஒரு சாரருக்கு பாதிப்பு இருக்க தான் செய்யும் எல்லாருக்குமே வந்து அது அனுகூலமாக இருக்காது ஸோ அந்த வகையில் ஒருத்தர் 2 பேர் அதை கிரிட்டிசைஸ் பண்ணிட்டு தான் இருப்பாங்க அது வந்து தவிர்க்க முடியாது அது
These roads around Luz Corner have seen a sharp increase in traffic over the years. But people familiar with these roads say unauthorized parking has actually narrowed driving space and that should be addressed first. In Chennai, with camera person Manoj and reporter Salim, Saptarshi Bhattacharya for Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, let's now take a look at what's making news in the world of business on our special segment, Business Line. After yesterday's calm, today was a perfect storm as the benchmark indices swung violently before closing 0.5% higher. Let's now take a look at how the markets did today.
In fact, anyone who was cribbing and complaining yesterday there was absolutely no volatility in the market probably had his hands full today, as for the first time in many months we saw a big two-way move, which also meant that volumes almost hit all-time highs, at least in the derivative space. Nifty intraday a slightly low opening, but till 11 you had absolutely no idea as to what was coming. The lull before the storm, and then this big move, almost 120 points from the day's low, the high around 53.40 for the Nifty. That's when you thought it's game, set and match for bulls. But then bears made a big comeback, almost 100 points from the day's high. Nifty finally ending just 0.5% higher. What went up today? If you take a look at the stocks that went higher, you probably don't get a sense of what exactly was happening in the market. Most of these stocks are closing well off the day's high, but the star was clearly State Bank of India, big heavyweight 6% higher. Some analysts have upgraded the stock. That went up 6%. Other PSU stock 1.5%, 2% each, and the banking pack was one of the best performing index. The other stock which led the charge for bulls was Reliance ahead of results tomorrow, 2% higher, and that also meant that 2% move on Reliance was enough for a 25-point up move on the Nifty. On the way down for the first time in 3 days, realty stocks went lower. You had Sova developers that went down 5.5%. Peninsula SDIL 3-4% down. Realty index as a whole lost about 1.5%. Now, the kind of volatility we saw today, we haven't seen this in many months. Just 5 more days to go for expiry. Tomorrow you have the Reliance results. It's probably make or break time for both bulls and bears.
Moving on, superstar Rajnikant's popularity has spread far and wide. Rose Gerritsen, a PhD student from Leiden University in Netherlands, is in Chennai to study fan clubs in Tamil Nadu. And when Ndtv-Hindu informed Rajnikant's office about her visit, she was called to interact with the select few fans of the actor at his Raghavendra Mandapam in Kodambakam. Take a look.
A student of visual anthropology from Netherlands, Rose visited India first in 2002 to study the wedding video albums culture in Tamil Nadu. Later she focused on the unique culture of fan clubs and how it shapes stardom in the state.
From the different generations in Tamil cinema, you have Kamal Haasan and Rajnikant, of which Rajnikant probably has the largest fan base at this moment. His fans are based everywhere, in cities and in small towns.
Rajnikant has promised to meet Rose next week. And director S.P. Muthuraman, who's made 25 films with Rajnikant, had a discussion with her.
இந்த ரசிகர்கள் இங்கே மட்டும் இல்லை, நான் ரஜினி சார் படத்தை பண்ணி பல வருஷங்கள் ஆயிடுச்சு. இன்றைக்கும் அவர்கள் என்னோட தொடர்பு இருக்காங்கன்னா, நான் ரஜினி சார் வச்சு 25 படம் இயக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக அந்த மரியாதை இன்னும் அந்த ரசிகர்கள் எனக்கு தர்றாங்கன்னா அது எவ்வளோ பெரிய பெருமைங்கிறது எனக்கு தெரியும்.
Rajnikant is 60 years old, and his 153rd film, Yendiran, is bigger than Bollywood films, with a whopping budget of 150 crore rupees. The film is set for release on Independence Day.
நாங்க 19 ல இருந்து 26 வயசுல அந்த காதலிக்கிற அந்த இளமை பருவம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அப்ப நாங்க எங்க தலைவரை காதலிச்சோம்.
As long as the market and magic continues for Rajnikant in the Tamil film industry, researchers will be fascinated by the mass phenomenon that he is. In Chennai with Peer Mohammed, J. Santosh for Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, the researcher Rose Gerritsen herself joined us in our studios earlier and shared her experience.
I think it's something very particular even of South India, where you don't have these fan clubs in North India, and of course it's amazing to see. It's so structural, it's so hierarchical, it's an amazing thing that you perhaps can only compare with soccer fans, but then it's not as structured as it is here, so it is amazing.
And probably the beauty of the entire thing is it is not in a structured manner.
Yeah, that's maybe the difference. Well, there are other things going on there, but that's another story.
You've been working with, you've been working on a few of these fans, you've been researching. So what do you think these fans, why do you think these fans do it? From your point of view, what do they get back from being such, strong fans of the superstar himself?
Well, first of all, it's of course people like someone acting in his movie. So they get attracted by him as a person, as an actor, his characters in movies. But then of course they also get something out of it. So they get something in return, being a fan, so seeing movies together with friends, but also free tickets. You can even enter politics. So there are many things going on that you get in return from liking someone.
Right. But speaking about the soccer fans, do you think there's any difference between the way, even for that matter, soccer or any other star in the West would be followed, and the way we follow our fans, our superstars? Have you seen any difference in the kind of fan following?
I think it's very different, and of course there are some comparisons to be made, but it's such a different phenomenon.
What exactly if you can point out to one or two differences specifically?
The difference is that here it is very much connected to politics in a way that if you enter a fan club, even the structure of the fan clubs resembles the political structures.
Yeah,
but
that's
then
an
again,
interesting point of view. Yeah.
to come into a fan club and then also enter politics is something that you would probably not see somewhere else.
Okay, now there's also some people who like to believe there's a negative side to this entire mass following also, because sometimes it turns into a mass hysteria. We've seen, for example, during the death of probably a superstar, we saw it during when Rajkumar died a few years back, the superstar in Karnataka. The kind of mass following turns into a mass hysteria, and some people say it's probably a negative side to this as well. That the fact that someone can, in some cases, blindly follow a single person who's just an entertainer. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know if it's negative, because people are doing it, it's their own choice, so it's not blind following, I believe. So in that sense, and otherwise, can you stop it? So in that sense, could you say that it's negative or positive, but it's just something that is happening that you should understand and deal with.
Mm-hmm. All right, one last question. Why Rajni? Why not any other star in the country?
I think Rajnikant was interesting for me because he's also, or at least his fans expect him to be in politics. But I'm also looking at other fans, so it's not only Rajnikant in that sense.
All right. And up next on the other side, in the battle of the two wicketkeeper captains, how did Dhoni's men fare in the first innings? Find out on the other side.